97.2.
Your city.
Your Cam FM.
So I'm joined on the phone now by Eddie Butler, Welsh international, former captain, and the voice of rugby on the BBC. He's also an Observer columnist and, of course, a Cambridge Blue. Eddie Butler, how are you?
Very well, thank you, Tom. Very well.
Fantastic. Well, thank you for talking to us. The Varsity Match is just around the corner. I'm sure you've got some fond memories of playing rugby for Cambridge.
Oh, I do. I've got some great memories. I've also got some very, very bad memories. My middle Varsity Match, 1977. I think we were probably favourites to win, and we lost it.
Ah, really?
Which is, grim feeling and all that. But we were not good enough on the day, as they say. I remember it was such a bleak day. There was about 9 miles of cloud over Twickenham, and it was just dark before its time.
Absolutely. But you had a couple of wins, though, is that right?
76 and 78. Yeah, we won. So I'm in credit overall. But they were all tough, and they were certainly the fastest games I ever played in. Not necessarily the best.
Really?
A lot of running around, not really knowing what was going on, but
yeah.
It was very furious and exhausting.
How does the intensity of a varsity match compare to, say, club rugby or international rugby of the same sort of era?
Well, it's very difficult to say because they were so different. I mean, in terms of sheer frenzied pace, they were up there with anything. But whether it was actually going anywhere is a different matter. Probably not. But in terms of just ending a game absolutely spent,
yeah,
the Varsity Match is second to none, and I imagine it's still the case today. It's just, almost mad mayhem out there, and no time to think, no time to do anything but just get on with it and suck in as much air as you can. It was the most exhausting experience, but I was also conscious that, blimey, it was littered with error.
Well, yeah. Out on that big Twickenham pitch. Obviously, you were on the winning side twice. What did it mean to you and the team to sort of come away with that sort of victory, having spent pretty much the whole season leading up to that game?
Yes, it's very strange that everything you do beforehand is simply geared towards this one match. And I was quite lucky. I got injured a few times, but it was always back in plenty of time. But there were players who had the misfortune to get injured just the wrong time, and they missed out. And it was very serious business. We look back sort of on the amateur days as if they didn't really count somehow, but the intensity for us was just up there. It was everything we breathed in the first term, and as the game approached, you could sense it. And yet you couldn't take your foot off the pedal because loss of form, it's quite ruthless. The selection process was quite brutal. Players were dropped with a week to go, having spent 9 weeks in the team.
Absolutely. I mean, obviously that selection process is sort of going on right now, and in the build up to the game. How does the team deal with that? How does the team sort of, try and keep the spirit high, keep morale up, even though you're sort of looking around and looking at your teammates and knowing that some of you are going to be on that starting lineup and some of you aren't?
Yeah, I suppose it falls into three categories, doesn't it? I mean, there's the bulk of the team that know they're in. I mean, they're the side from, say, 2 to 14 almost picks itself. But then you've got a couple of injuries coming back and a couple of players who are trying to struggle on through playing with an injury. And then you've got the one or two who just might be losing form, and somebody in the sixth club might just be coming through at the right time. It's quite a balancing act, and I don't know. We took a couple of risks, and they didn't really come off. I think
right.
Caution and a balanced side always helps. Certainly, by the time of the third one, we were pretty settled, and we were pretty confident, and we were pretty driven by wanting revenge for the game the year before when
Absolutely.
We really should have won. Yeah.
Yeah. You speak of revenge.
Yeah.
How much of a rivalry really? I mean, how does this sort of rivalry compare to, I don't know, sort of club rivalries and or a Wales England match at Twickenham or in Cardiff? What sort of feeling is it, and how would it compare to those sort of rivalries?
Yeah, it's an odd one, isn't it? Because I mean, there's no logic to it, and there's no rationale, but it's there, and there's no denying it. And I think the year before I went, before I went up to Cambridge, the year before, I think they'd been on a joint tour, and Oxford and Cambridge, and got on famously. And I remember we used to go on an Easter tour down to France every year, and we met up with the Oxford boys on the same train, and we got on famously. But it's I wouldn't say on the field it was it was simply a case of gloves off, and we beat lumps out of each other.
You get down to business, yeah.
Yeah.
97.2.
Your city.
Your Calm FM.